Step 6, daily detox routines. This is kind of like a part 2 follow-up to the basic home detoxification module. On the one side, we have decreasing toxin exposure, and on the other side, we have increasing toxin elimination out of the body. That's what we're talking about today. So our outline, we're going to talk about those two sides of detoxification, talk about some detox principles to keep in mind, the foundational detox practices, weekly detox routines, and then action steps and FAQs. So again, two sides of detoxification. We need to decrease toxin exposure that's coming into the body and then increase toxin elimination out of the body. That's what we're talking about today. As long as toxins that are going into the body, which we can't avoid, are less than the toxins that are being released from the body, we're going to have a healthy balance of detoxification and toxins aren't going to build up in the tissues and cause problems. A few principles of detoxification. Detox should be considered a lifestyle in today's world. Just like brushing your teeth or exercising. It's something that you should do every day or every week to keep yourself cleansed and balanced. Again, toxic absorption should be less than toxin elimination. That's why we do detox routines, to get the toxins out more efficiently and effectively. Our body has natural channels of elimination that are called emunctories. These are the channels in which substances are excreted from the body, like stool, urine, sweat, menstrual blood, exhalation, even vomit when you're sick. So keeping these channels open and optimized using detoxification routines to help to open these channels is going to help the body to excrete toxins as it does naturally as part of the healing process. This, of course, is the opposite of symptom suppression, where drugs or supplements are used to push the symptoms and the discharge down. Remember the diagram that explains the healing process. We're trying to support the natural discharge of the toxins and of the disease out of the body. Doing detoxification routines helps the body to naturally discharge toxins. So we're not suppressing this, but we're actually encouraging it. Normal physiology happens in a certain order of operations that we follow. And this helps the body to detoxify effectively. It starts with digestion, because that is the first organ system that is activated when we eat food. So digestion is first, then we need to optimize our blood sugar. Remember the nutrition plan video where we go over the principles of good blood sugar regulation, having 3 balanced meals a day with protein, carbs, and fat, not going long periods of time of fasting. That's going to help to give our cells the energy that they need. When we have good blood sugar regulation, our liver doesn't have to work too hard. Of course, our liver is our main organ of detoxification, but if our blood sugar is way out of whack, our cells aren't getting energy, then our liver has to do extra work with the stored sugar called glycogen in order to support our blood sugar regulation. So without good blood sugar regulation, that puts pressure on our liver. And then finally, our hormones are the last step in the process. Our liver helps to detoxify hormones. It makes cholesterol. That's the building block of all of our hormones. So if our liver is impacted negatively, that is going to affect our hormonal health. So there's an entire cascade of how the organ systems function, and it all begins with digestion. That is what this diagram is showing here, the organ system order of operations that we have to keep in mind. So again, having good digestive health is going to improve our liver function, which is our main organ system of detoxification, and good hormonal health, which is why good digestive health is synonymous with good detoxification. The body also detoxifies in a certain order. This is the funnel of how toxins leave the body, and the bottom bottleneck of the funnel is our colon, because most of the toxins that are released out of our body are released through our stool. Our liver and gallbladder is next, because that processes all of the toxins before they are released into the colon. Then our lymphatic system, that's a system that runs alongside our blood vessels that helps to detoxify the tissues. So that comes next. The lymphatic system is somewhat synonymous with the immune system that creates mucus. And the lymphatic system carries toxins from the organs and tissues to the liver to be processed. Then we have the organs and tissues, and then we have the cells. So this is the order in which we have to cleanse the body. The cells are not going to be deeply detoxified unless all of these systems are optimized. If the liver is overloaded, then the body has to find additional channels to release toxins. So it will have to use the skin, which is one of the body's largest detoxification organs, the kidneys, or the lungs. This is like the overflow system. So these organs are detoxification organs, but we don't want them doing a lot of the heavy lifting with detoxification, or else there's gonna be symptoms and problems. We wanna try to maintain toxins going out of the body in this order, starting with the digestive system. So foundational detoxification practices that we want to implement in order to have good natural detoxification. So again, supporting the GI tract and the liver. We can improve our digestive capacity by using things like bitters, digestive enzymes, apple cider vinegar before meals to stimulate the digestive juices, which will help the digestive process. And then practicing those eating hygiene techniques, chewing your food the consistency of applesauce, not multitasking when you eat, sitting down, breathing, eating in a calm and relaxed state. Regulating the blood sugar, which means eating 3 meals a day with a balance of protein, fat, and carbs with each meal. Decreasing endotoxin. This is the byproduct of mal-digested and absorbed food that goes into your digestive tract and causes inflammation and toxicity that then your body absorbs into the bloodstream, causes all sorts of problems. So we want to decrease foods that lead to endotoxin. Processed foods, of course. Decreasing PUFAs. Decreasing grains, beans, and nuts and seeds, as we talked about in the nutrition principles section. Individualizing your diet. We do food intolerance evaluation to identify certain foods that people cannot digest individually. It might be a good food in principle, but it may not be a good food for you, which can create maldigestion and endotoxin. So using easy to digest foods and then tapping into those antiseptic fibers that we talked about, carrot, mushrooms, and oat bran to keep your gut cleansed. Having normal bowel movements every day. 2 to 3 per day is ideal. Most people think 1 is enough. 1's okay. 2 to 3 is most ideal. Your bowel movements should be formed, easy to pass. If constipation is a serious issue, consider castor oil packs. We'll talk about those in a second. And using Cascara sagrada, which is the best laxative herb that exists. Unlike most other laxative pharmaceuticals and herbs, it doesn't cause any dependency whatsoever. So taking Cascara sagrada can help to keep the body cleansed by moving the bowels regularly until you get to the root of the problem where you don't need to rely on it. Anytime you're having any digestive symptoms, whether it's constipation, diarrhea, bloating, burping, gas, cramping, that's a sign that something about your digestive system is not optimized. That's a very important area to address to figure out the root cause of that issue, so you improve your nutritional absorption and you improve your detoxification. Of course, a good place to always start with that is the nutrition principles that we already covered. Hydration, having clean, filtered, structured, mineralized water that we already talked about. Being hydrated helps the cells to function properly so that they can naturally detoxify as the body is designed to do. Decreasing stress. The body will not release toxins if you're in a stressed state. When you're in a parasympathetic state, your body is activating your digestive tract, it's activating your liver, it's activating all of the healing processes that only happen in a anti-stress parasympathetic state. There's stories of individuals that have known heavy metal toxicity, that do heavy metal tests, and nothing comes up until they have a big emotional release, and then heavy metals start pouring out of their system that can be identified with heavy metal blood tests. It just goes to show that when the body's in a stressed state, you're holding on to your toxins because your cells and your tissues are closed and your organs of detoxification are not operating efficiently. So eating hygiene to support the digestive tract, doing a 50-50 practice where 50% of your day you're operating in the sympathetic mode where you're working, doing errands, exercising, and 50% is in parasympathetic mode where you're resting, you're eating, you're walking, you're sleeping. We're going to talk a lot more about that in an upcoming module in HealthOS. And then sleep hygiene. because most of detoxification happens when you're sleeping. Good sleep helps to regenerate the system so that you can detoxify much more efficiently. Anything that moves the blood and the lymph is going to help detoxification because you're making sure that the lymph is efficiently carrying its toxins back to the liver. The blood also carries toxins to the liver. So anytime you run the blood and the lymph more efficiently through the system, it's passing through the liver more frequently, which is literally cleansing your lymph and your blood. So diaphragmatic breathing pumps your lymph and it massages your digestive tract and your liver that helps it to function better. Any movement, particularly walking, is going to pump your blood and your lymph through your system more efficiently. Hot, cold. Hot dilates, cold constricts. So when you do this contrast of hot and cold, it's literally pumping your blood and your lymph through the system. An easy way to implement hot and cold therapy is ending your showers with cold or doing some hot and cold cycling when you take a shower, but you always want to end with cold. When you end with cold, your periphery, arms and your legs, the vessels constrict, bringing your blood to your vital organs where it's needed the most. So ending with cold is very revitalizing. Any exercise, which is movement that gets you sweating, is going to lead to sweating out toxins by opening up the emunctory of your skin. And it also is going to increase your metabolism, increase your heart rate, increase your body temperature, which allows toxins to be processed out of your body faster. Let's talk about some weekly detoxification routines. Doing detoxification routines is a way to deliberately open up the channels of elimination and upregulate your body's natural detoxification process. The foundational practices that we talked about will set the stage for your body to do that naturally, and then detoxification routines will help to further push toxins out of the body faster. One of the best detoxification routines that you can do is doing infrared saunas. Saunas move the blood and the lymph through the heat. That's going to make you sweat and urinate heavy metals out of your system. The infrared light is able to penetrate into your cells and tissues, which recharges your mitochondria and literally pushes toxins out of your cells and tissues. You'll sweat those out through sweat, through your urine. So any sauna will do, whether it's a traditional hot sauna or an infrared sauna. The infrared is particularly effective for detoxification because of the IR light. You can find saunas at many gyms, your local YMCA, or buying a home sauna or a sauna blanket is a great investment in your overall health. If you can afford it, if you have space for it, I highly recommend a home sauna. But a sauna blanket is a cheaper alternative that doesn't take up any space and is still highly effective. If you want to purchase a sauna, check out our master resource list for all of our current recommendations. Things that you want to look out for is non-toxic materials, because the sauna is going to heat up. So any glues or any poor quality wood is going to off-gas chemicals. So it's got to be very clean from a material perspective. And many modern infrared saunas release high amounts of EMF. So you want to make sure that the sauna is low in EMF. When you do saunas and you mobilize a lot of heavy metals and other toxins out of the tissues, you can add binders that will grab onto the toxins and heavy metals to help the removal out of the system. Binders are like sponges. They absorb much more times their surface area in toxins to allow these products to be safely released from the body without irritating the tissues or being reabsorbed. The classic binder that most people know of is charcoal. This is what they use to pump people's stomachs when they overdose with alcohol. You can buy activated charcoal at Whole Foods or any health food store. Takasumi is another binder that's highly effective. Chlorella, humic and fulvic. See our resource list for our favorite products. When you get out of the sauna, ending with a cold shower or a cold rinse. Again, you always want to end with cold. Even better would be doing a cold plunge. You can find many places now, gyms or specific sauna cold plunge places that offer both, and you could do contrast ending with cold. Other detoxification routines that you can do at home that are pretty simple: magnesium and soda baths. You basically take 1 cup of magnesium flakes and 1 cup of baking soda in a hot bath for 30 plus minutes. Want to make it hot so you're sweating. Your body can absorb an immense amount of magnesium through your skin, so you're going to actually remineralize your body through the magnesium, and the baking soda helps to alkalinize your body and increase the CO2. Dry skin brushing. Very simple technique where you brush all the surfaces of your skin always towards your abdomen where your lymph is drained. You can do this before a shower. That's why it's called dry skin brushing. You want to do it when your body is dry. It will exfoliate your skin, but it very effectively moves the lymph through your system. It's said to be just as effective as a lymphatic massage, and you can do it cheaply and easily every day at home. Castor oil packs. This is a tried and true traditional detoxification routine that you can do at home before bed. You can buy a castor oil pack kit that looks something like this. It will include a cloth-lined pad and a bottle of castor oil. You drizzle some castor oil over that pad. You put it over your abdomen and liver with a hot water bottle. The castor oil will bring blood to your digestive tract and liver, which will help the healing and detoxification of those organs. And the heat will help to dilate the blood vessels and encourage more blood flow to go to the area as well. 20 to 30 minutes over your abdomen before bed. You can do this literally every night if you want to. It can improve your digestive function. It'll improve detoxification. And then red light therapy. You can do this in a sauna via an infrared sauna, or you can just do this with a little red light panel, either a good LED panel or a red light bulb panel, which is what I prefer because it releases heat and it penetrates deeper than the LED. And you can do that daily, exposing as much skin as possible. You can put it over any area that needs support. Putting it over your abdomen will help the detoxification of your organs, but anywhere on your face and body will help detoxification and help to recharge your mitochondria. Let's talk about some action steps. We want to implement the foundational daily detox practices that we talked about in order to make sure that the body's physiology is optimized for good natural detoxification. So that means good eating hygiene and optimizing your digestion, having adequate nutrition and hydration. So we're getting all the vitamins and minerals and water that we need for proper cellular function, implementing movement and sweating daily, ending showers with cold. Routines. If available to you, doing a sauna 2 to 3 times a week is an incredible detoxification practice. If you don't have a sauna available, tapping into one or more of the additional detox routines we talked about, dry skin brushing, baths, castor oil packs, etc. The goal is to make detox routines a consistent part of your weekly schedule. You have to figure out what works for you, what works for your schedule, your budget, etc. But making this a practice, not just something that you do every month. Doing it every month is not going to have the effects if you want this to actually work for you and detoxify your cells and work towards optimal detoxification. There's too much toxic load and too much toxic exposure that we're dealing with for this to be like a once a month kind of thing. This has to be a regular practice. And if you do that, you're going to get into deeper and deeper layers of detoxification, just like peeling back the layers of an onion. Let's talk about some FAQs. Is detox really necessary? Yes, for all the reasons that I keep harping on. We live in the modern medical matrix. You got to detox. How long do I have to detox until I'm good? When you're going through a healing process, you're dealing with a chronic problem, you may need to really upregulate the detoxification in your life to get efficient results in a shorter time period. Once your body is pretty optimized, detoxification can be something that you do at a maintenance level. But even at a maintenance level, we still recommend doing it as part of your day-to-day life. Most people really enjoy detox because it feels great, it's euphoric, so you grow to love it. Can I combine routines during the same week? Absolutely. Most of the detoxification routines that we talked about are safe, they're fairly gentle, so you can definitely stack routines. You don't want to overdo it, doing multiple routines every single day. We want to work with the body, not push it too hard. Most of these are safe, but you have to have balance. You have to feel intuitively what your body needs and not push yourself too hard, not sweat for too long, not stay in a sauna too long where it's exhausting for you. Once you start sweating in a sauna, you only really need to go for 5 more minutes in order to get the vast amount of the heavy metals mobilized from that particular session. So you don't have to push saunas for 45 minutes to an hour where you're absolutely exhausted. So the amount of time that you stay in and the frequency that you do it needs to be moderate based off of what feels good for your body. Are there any negative side effects of detoxification? There can be if you push it too hard and you exhaust your system, or you push toxins out of your body too quickly. Of course, if you have a chronic, serious problem, you need to work with a licensed medical provider or have individualized consulting with us or someone else in order to get individualized recommendations. So of course, you need to go forward at your own risk. You have to realize that if you have a really serious problem, you can't push toxins out of the body too hard, or you're going to get what's called a Herxheimer, or a healing process. For most individuals, for the routines that we went over and implementing the foundational detox practices that we talked about, you're going to mitigate the negative side effects that detox can cause, but you definitely have to be aware, be cautious, understand your own particular situation, and get additional support if needed. Can I overdo detox? Yes, for all the reasons we talked about. Be balanced, be aware, be intuitive, listen to your body, and you're gonna be fine. See you in the next video.